if you look at the domestic economic conditions, I hear all this discussion about the U.S. economy accelerating. If you look at the GDP number that we're probably going to have in the revised report for the fourth quarter, combine that with the negative report in the first quarter, average growth for all of 2014 is about 2.3%. And fourth quarter over fourth quarter growth will be about 2.2%. That's really where the economy's been growing over the last 5 years. There is no acceleration. Nominal GDP growth is running approximately around 4% where it's been growing. Now, we've had a nice pickup in employment in the last couple of months. There's no doubt about that. That's squeezing productivity. The squeeze in productivity is not going to be allowed to go on very long by corporate America, who needs very strong earnings to justify the multiples that they're getting in the stock market. So either we're going to have a decline in the earnings numbers, or we're going to have multiples be maintained by stronger earnings, which is going to mean a slowdown in employment going forward. And I think that's really going to be the limiting factor on the Fed, as well as the deflationary forces that are taking place overseas that we could also import on a stronger dollar.
Wow. So that's a very long list of non-ideal situations we find ourselves in.
And we can keep on going.
But what we're talking about...
And we can keep on going.
What we're talking about is being at near zero interest rates, having come through a massive force-feeding of QE into the economy. So, you don't have to have a perfect world to start raising rates. You mentioned deflation, but almost as an afterthought.
Well, I mean, the deflation story is very, very critical, but there's also this wrong concept I keep on hearing over and over again in the financial press about this acceleration in economic growth that isn't happening. Last month, we had a horrible retail sales number. We had a horrible durable goods number. We're likely to have a very disappointing retail sales number. This month, we've had a strong payroll number. We say everything's great. It's not great. It's running where it's been. It's been the same thing for the last 5 years. There's no improvement in the economy. I do not disagree with they think it's reasonable. However, it's reasonable based on the assumption we're going to have an acceleration in underlying economic activity, we're going to have an acceleration in inflation, and we're going to have an acceleration in wage gains. And I haven't seen any of those basic assumptions come through. So therefore, I have to sit back and question whether or not reasonable is based on a forecast or reasonable is based on reality. If I look at reality today, it's not reasonable. If I look at it based on their forecast, it's reasonable. And their forecasting record's been pretty abysmal, and so is the market's forecasting record. And I think that's what's going to show through by the middle of this year. And we're going to be pushing it out just like we've been doing with the Bank of England. They've been preparing everybody for a rate increase for quite some time, too.